welcome back to episode 10 of the Knitting Diaries. My name is Inga Rós and I live in a small town in East Iceland, and this is a show about knitting and sometimes dyeing and sometimes sewing plotted bags, but mostly knitting. You can find me on Instagram as inga.ros and on Ravelry as Inga Rósu. And we also have a Ravelry group called the Knitting Diaries podcast. I have a Periscope account. I've only done a couple, but the intention is there. I'm going to do more of them, but we'll see how that turns out. I wanted to say thank you to all viewers, new and returning. Thank you for taking the time and sitting down and knitting, hopefully, while you watch my podcast. I really appreciate it. I wanted to mention two podcasts that are not new to me, or probably not to you either, and that is Candice of the Pin Feathers and Pearl podcast. I love watching Candice. She's a little bit geeky and she watches a lot of the movies I like superhero movies and stuff like that, and she plays video games and read comics and stuff like that, which she talks about and recommends sometimes in her podcast. She has an adorable co-host, Yossi, who is a bird, some kind of parakeet, I think. And I really like watching her. She has beautiful projects and a really nice atmosphere in her podcast. And the other one is Lara of the Fawn and the Fox podcast. I think it's the Fawn and the Fox, yeah. She is one of those ladies who is inspiring me to do this every other week, to podcast. And she is dyeing her own yarn and she is making plotted bags, so she is my inspiration for doing a lot of things that I am doing now. And I really wouldn't be doing this if I couldn't see that it was actually possible to do this. So thank you, ladies, for inspiring me to do this. But on to the knitting, because that's probably why you're here. And so for my kláruð verkefni, or my finished objects, I finished 2 today because I was not going to record this without having finished my projects. And the first one are my cobblestone socks. The cobblestone socks are a pattern from Mina Phillips of the Knitting Expert podcast. This is one of her 4 sock patterns in a collection she published earlier this month. And she gave the collection to me because I test knitted the heel for her. And I haven't woven in the ends, but I have finished the toe, kitchen is the toe, and I just did that at lunchtime at work, so I haven't woven in the ends. But here they are. And this is yarn dyed by me, and it's just this really stripy, speckled green and cream color. And as the Mina writes the pattern up so that you do the pattern only on the front of the sock. But I was in such a rush or something when I started the pattern that I didn't realize that I was making it in the round, but now I kind of regret not ripping it back. I'm not gonna do that now, obviously, but it would be really nice to have this stripy look on the back of the sock. But I'll just have to do that next time. And I just did the rounded toe that she gives in her pattern, and the kitchener toe. And I'm not really having a problem anymore with the kitchener after I found the tutorial about no dog ear kitchener. I can show you. It just looks like this, and it's really nice. I like it, and it's a really simple procedure. It really just skips the when you do the kitchener, it says to do the preparation stitches or something, but I just skip those and then it comes out like this. And of course I have two, and this is where I was the last time I showed them to you, where my little pizza stitch marker is. Because I do 2 at a time socks, and I really prefer that method, 2 at a time. I don't think that I would necessarily have second sock syndrome, but I just really like when I'm finished with the socks, I have 2. I don't have to start on another one, which is why I don't think I will be buying any 9 circular needles, and because I don't know how you would do a heel on those and the toe, because you have to change to, or at least I think so, that you would have to change to DPNs for the toe decreases, but maybe you can use the needles all the way, I don't know. So that is one finished object, and the other one is my bunny top, which I also finished at lunchtime in work. There wasn't much to do with it, it was just kitchenering the shoulders together, and this hasn't obviously been blocked or washed or anything, but I'm really happy with this, and I still haven't woven in the ends, which for some people doesn't count as a finished object, but I'm still calling this a finished object. And I've put it on, and it's even before blocking, it fits really well, and I think it will be really, really beautiful when I finish blocking it. So I'm very happy with this. But that also means that I have finished all my work í vinnslu, all my works in progress. But as those of you who have been watching since the beginning know that I have one more project, and that is my Freya. And now I am not allowed to cast on any new projects before I finish her. And there is so little left doing, so, but the sticking is kind of, yeah. I'm not worried about it at all, but I have to find somehow to film, because I was going to film while I stick it, and I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I will figure it out, and by the next podcast I will be finished with it. But I thought I would show you some future projects or framtíðarverkefni. And as I am watching all the podcasts now, I think well known, obviously not all of them, but a lot of them. And everyone is making all the beautiful shawls. And I haven't really made a shawl for myself. So this fall and next winter will be all about the shawls. And since I am finishing an Icelandic project, I am going to cast on a shawl from this book. It is called Þríhyrnur and Langsjöl, which is just translates as triangle shawls and Langsjöl. Yeah, not gonna try that one even. But it has some traditional Icelandic shawls in them made from einband, which is the lace weight in Icelandic yarns. And it has some really beautiful patterns. This one, for instance, is called Dýrfinnur hyrna með blúndu. Try saying that one. But it has some really, really beautiful. Just want to show you one more. That is my favorite, and that's the one I'm going to start with. And it's this one. It's a really big shawl. That's just in the normal sheep colors, so white, grey, and what we call mórauður, or I think would be called mauve in English, I think. The thing about Icelandic shawls, it is that most of them you cast on all the stitches. So in this case you cast on 339 stitches. Yeah. And then you pick up stitches along the border for the lace edge. But I'm gonna try it out at least. If it turns out to be too much of a hassle, I will just... There are some shawls where you cast on just a few and end with many. So yeah, there are some really beautiful ones in here. But I am going to make another shawl that is more, and this pattern just on Ravelry, and it is the 3-color Kashmir shawl by Hói Lókatali. The grocery girls were doing a knit along for this last winter, but then I was like, shawls, who needs them, right? But now I am all about the shawls, so I am just late to the party, but I am, yeah. And I have in my yarn that I ordered a cashmere base, an 80-10-10 cashmere base that I will be dyeing yarn for this. So I can't wait for that. I haven't really been dyeing a lot. Last week was a really hectic week at work, so I haven't been doing much knitting or dyeing this week. But in the pots right now is Ice Cave, and I am just trying out different bases. Actually, I have it on 3 bases already. I had already shown you this one. This is a little bit more blue than I want it to be, but this is Subos Merino and Nylon 75-25. But this one is really pretty. This one is exactly like I want it to be, and this is with Stellina in it. And you can see it. And this one is really gorgeous. And this one will be a prize for my 300 subscriber giveaway, which I will talk about in a little while. And this one is a BFL base. So it's an 80 BFL and 20% nylon. And as I said, it is in the pots on a cashmere base. That's probably it for dyeing, as I said, but as of tomorrow, I have to finish work tomorrow, and then I am off for 4 weeks for summer vacation, and then I will be dyeing, hopefully, a lot. Last weekend, Atli and I went to Akureyri. Hey, no, we didn't. We went to Reykjavik, and I went to a couple of yarn stores, and I actually found out that my local yarn store is pretty amazing. It of course has all the Icelandic brands, and it has Hedgehog Fibers, it has Madeleine Toss, it has Cascade, and all kinds of different yarns in it. And by comparison to the stores in Reykjavik, mine is actually pretty good. And I have to go there tomorrow because for my bunny I actually bought 2 skeins of the yarn, and I didn't need this one, so I have to go and return it tomorrow, and then I will ask permission to film a little segment in the store. Yeah, what was I talking about? Yarn stores in Reykjavik, yeah. So I only bought needles in Reykjavik, but that's okay because I, as I mentioned before, or on my last podcast, I couldn't find 2.25 millimeter needles in Iceland, but a lovely Icelandic viewer messaged me and told me that Storkurinn, which is a yarn store in Reykjavik, carried 2.25 needles, and then I should check it out, and I did, and I look at it, 100 centimeters, which is my preferred length because I do 2 at a time. And this, I actually have 2.5 in this, and I like the needles. The point is good, it's not too pointy, but the join on these is not great. It's not horrible or anything, but I wasn't loving it, so I wasn't really excited to buy Knit Pro, but I took them out of the package in the store and checked the joint, and it is much smoother on this one. There will be no hesitation with this one. So I haven't tried them out, but I will be casting on socks with this soon. And the other one I got is this Chiago, I think you say it. And these are 2.5 millimeters and 40 inch or 100 centimeter cable when it's the red cable or the lace cable. And I haven't tried these out either, so yeah, I'm excited to do that. I also got these. These are just darning needles, but they have the bent tip on them, which makes them really good when you're doing the Kitchener stitch, for instance. These are a little bit too big for socks, for sock projects, but for everything else they will be very good. And these are actually the only needles I had with me at work at lunchtime, so I didn't want to weave in the ends on the socks with these because they are just too big. And that's why all the ends are woven in. Yeah, that's all for shopping. I am breezing through this as usual, but that's okay. I think I was always trying to get up to an hour or something, but I'm not gonna do it. I like the short ones. But I got a couple of questions in my Ravelry group, and please, if you have any questions at all, pop them in there. and I will answer them on the next podcast. So I had a question from her other name is Steffi Stricker, or her name is just Steffi. So thank you for your question, Steffi. And she wanted to know, she looked up my town, and my town is called Egilsstaðir and is on the East Iceland. She looked it up on Google Maps and realized that it's on the other side of Iceland compared to Reykjavik. And the only road going to Reykjavik brings at least a 7-hour drive with it. I was wondering if you could tell us more about the remote life in Iceland. Are you usually taking a plane to Reykjavik when you have to go there? I'm kind of used to such distances from my time I spent above the Arctic Circle in Finland and all the trips I have done around there since then, but I kind of feel like Iceland is another level of remoteness. Yes, the only road, because the center of Iceland is obviously an island and a very small one for that, and there are only towns and settlements on the coastline, usually maybe a little bit inland like Egilsstaðir is. I'm not, the town I live in is not by the sea, but mostly it just covers the coastline, and that's just because the highland is very rough and with crazy weather during the winter that it just isn't inhabitable. So the only road to Reykjavik is the Circle Road, and that is, I think I am about 8 hours to drive to Reykjavik. And that is not something that we do during the winter because you never know what kind of weather you are getting. So we usually fly. And flying takes about an hour. We recently got a new plane, or the Flugfélag or the air company just got a new plane, and it's in that it is about 45 minutes. But that is really expensive. So for me to take my family, and we are 5, the 5 of us, if we wanted to go to Reykjavik, it would be a lot of money. So usually we just don't go there. And I don't miss it. It's nice to, like this weekend, it's nice to go there, but for me, and I realize Reykjavik isn't a big city, but for me it is big. It's too much people, it's too much traffic, and I am really pleased when I am able to go home again. Yeah, I'm just looking up the cost of going. If we wanted to go, all 5 of us, we would be expected to pay somewhere around $800 to maybe $1,200 US dollars for going. And for a normal household like mine, that's just too much. So if we would be going, all 5 of us, we would be driving. And with 3 little boys, that's not happening either. So we just don't go there that much. I mean, we go maybe once a year. Yeah, that's probably. I sometimes have to go there because of work, and then my company all pays for the air trip, and then I get to run some errands in Reykjavik if I have them. We can get almost, or there's a saying in my town, it is ef það fæst ekki kaupfélaginu þá þarftu það ekki, which would be translated as if it doesn't, if the supermarket doesn't carry it, you don't need it. And we probably just still live by that. So yeah, we make trips to Akureyri, which is it's a town in northern Iceland that is a little bit bigger than ours. It has, well, a little bit, it's a lot bigger than mine. and that's in a 3-hour drive, and that we can make in a day. We want to make it a quick trip or maybe stay overnight, and that is fine. We go to Akureyri much more than we go to Reykjavik. About the remoteness, I don't see it as remote. We have all around us smaller towns, which are maybe a half an hour, maybe an hour drives. Yeah, and those, as I said, Egilsstaðir is not by the sea, and it's not in a fjord or in a valley somewhere. So my space is very open, and I don't have any mountains or something kind of feeling claustrophobic or something. Like there is a neighboring town to me called Seyðisfjörður, and all the fjords in my area, they don't get sunshine during the winter at all, because when the sun rises, it just shines on the mountain on the other side, and then it's gone. And in the winter, the sun is probably up 2-3 hours a day, and it doesn't reach all the way down to the fjord. So every spring there is usually a celebration in town when the sun actually reaches the town, because all the winter it has just been shining a little bit on the top of the mountain on the other side. So Egilsstaðir is not like that. It is very open, and or at least I don't see it as remote, but it probably is. Then there was another question by her other name is Mint Pixie or Barbara. She is in the United Kingdom, and she asks, "Hello Inga, how do you cope with the switch between constant daylight in the summer and darkness in the winter?" I cope with it just fine. Also, obviously, I am used to it. I have been living with this all my life. The only thing that I find during the summer, and it's really tempting to stay up a little bit later, and then you look at the time and it's 1 past midnight or 2 past midnight, and then it makes it really hard to get up in the morning and go to work. But that is really, of course, when it's getting darker in the fall, people become more, I don't know, not depressed, but they're not as vibrant and happy and smiling and everything in the spring. And you can obviously, in the springtime or when the day is getting longer, it gets noticeably longer in like April or May. Yeah. And then you can see in people, they are happier and they smile more. And yeah, it makes us happy, at least when the sun comes or the day is getting longer. But and some people really struggle with the fact that it is night time almost all winter. And of course, being Icelandic, we of course have a word for it. We have a word for everything, and it's called skammdegisþunglyndi. A really long word, but that usually means just skammdegi is dusk, when the light is changing. So yeah, and that is a fact that a lot of people struggle with here. But as I said, I don't have a problem with it. I've been living with this. I grew up like this, so it doesn't bother me at all. And you just have to have really good curtains to fall asleep at night when it's the brightest. And I have one more question, then I am done with the questions. And that is from, her other name is Ruatha, and she is Hillary from Australia. So thank you for your question, Hillary. And it is, hi Inga Rose, having studied several languages, I really admire your use of English. And I was wondering where you learned to speak it so well. Do you speak it at home with your boys? And she is including my husband in that, one of the boys. But English is taught in our elementary school when we are about 12, I think. We start learning English in school. And most or many countries, they translate and talk over the TV programs and films and everything. But Iceland doesn't do that. They just use subtexts. So you really grow up hearing a lot of English if you're watching TV or anything you're doing. So we learn it from the age of 12. And for me, I have just always read a lot. And as a teenager, I read a lot. And my kind of books are not translated, or at that time were translated into Icelandic, so I had to read them in English. And I have a Kindle today, so that's just recently that some book publishers in Iceland have made a contract with Amazon, and you can now get Icelandic books on Kindle. But as I said, that's fairly recent. So up until that, then I could only get books in English. So I have, I think, a pretty good vocabulary for English. And I have listened to audiobooks, and I'm not really used to speaking it all that much, but I'm getting the hang of it, and it really helps to have a little bit of a beer with you when you have to do that. But almost everybody in Iceland of the younger generation speaks really good Icelandic. Now speaks really good English. So those were the questions I got, and I really like getting questions and answering them. So please, if you have any, just pop them in the Ask Away thread on our Ravelry group, and I will answer them on the next podcast. Okay, then I am just checking my show notes if I am forgetting something, and I don't think so. So it's just one segment left, and that is síðan síðast, or since last time. And last time I was talking to you about soccer, because everyone in Iceland, if they weren't watching it before, they are watching now. Because last night we played England and we won. And I say we because everyone in Iceland says we. We won. The Icelandic national team for men, which are competing in the Euros. It's a really big tournament, and it's the first big tournament Iceland is qualified for. And they are now in there are only 8 teams left. And we are competing against France next weekend, I think. And yeah, it was the game last night was amazing. It was just amazing. And everybody, a lot of news reporters have been talking about the Icelandic fans, especially because they are really great to watch in the stands. And last night there was a gathering in Reykjavik, a really big one, before a really big screen, and there was just people sitting outside in the hill in downtown Reykjavik watching football, because everyone is watching. If they are not in France or in Reykjavik or in the downtown area, they are gathering in homes and watching football. And this has been amazing. And I don't even like to watch football if it's not my boys competing. But I am watching this, and my heart is beating faster, and I am very excited for all of this. But as I had mentioned before, Atli and I went to Reykjavik last weekend. We went early on a Friday morning and flew to Reykjavik. Our friend was traveling on the same plane. She was asking, oh, what are your plans? What are you going to do while you are in Reykjavik? And Atli answered her that he was going to some garages and boat shops because he is starting to fish in the summer and is trying to getting his boat ready. And I said that I was going to yarn shops and fabric shops, and she was not impressed. Our day did not sound excited to her. But the main reason we were going to Reykjavik was because we were attending a wedding. And that was on Saturday. That started as a great day. I got to sleep in. And when does that ever happen? I actually woke up 11:45 in the morning. I haven't slept so late in many, many years. But obviously that was going to be a great day. The wedding was held at Hallgrímskirkja, which is the biggest church in Iceland and one of the tallest buildings in Iceland, not counting some radio masts or something boring like that. The ceremony was beautiful, and I will put a picture of the brides because this was a same-sex marriage or a lesbian marriage. Jódís, the one with the long hair in a dress, is my childhood friend, and she is. And they are just so happy. They have been together. Actually, 10 years ago, they went to Sýslumaðurinn, which should probably, if they got to a judge, and they confirmed their relationship. That was all they could do at the time, 10 years ago. And then they went to a church in Seyðisfjörður, and the minister there blessed their relationship. And on Saturday, that same priest married them in Hallgrímskirkja. And she was kind of teary-eyed because she was with them again after 10 years, and they were still together obviously, and they had 2 children since, and she was just so grateful that she was with them again, that she was kind of tearing up all through the ceremony, and that obviously meant that there was not a dry eye in the church. But it was really beautiful. It was kind of funny when we got out of the church, because Hallgrímskirkja is rather a big tourist attraction in Reykjavik. You can go up to the tower and then you could see all over Reykjavik. So when we got outside, there was a really big crowd of people that was waiting for being let into the church because they wanted to get into the tower. So they were all taking pictures, so there are probably pictures of them all around the world. Guðrún, her wife, Jódís's wife, is pregnant, so they are going to have their 3rd baby in September. You can. Same-sex marriage has been allowed here in Iceland since 2010, but they wanted to wait for reaching that milestone of having 10 years from where they first confirmed their relationship. So yeah, this weekend was the 10 years and they got married, and it was a beautiful ceremony and so much fun at the reception. Yeah, as I said, I will probably put in a picture of them with their two smallest one. Yodis actually has an older son from actually when she was just a teenager. She was just, I think she was 15 when she had him. Yeah, he is 24 now. But I don't think I will keep you any longer. I think I've said everything that I wanted to say, and I just hope you enjoyed yourself, because I did, and I will just get to edit this and maybe go and take my yarn out of the pot. It's probably been there way too long. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I don't know when I will record the next episode, but hopefully it will be just the usual 2 weeks. Yeah, so not this Sunday, but the next, which is what? Oh, I haven't talked about the giveaway. So I reached 300 subscribers sometime last week. I wasn't really looking at it, but I wanted to go do a giveaway for that, and the prize will be Ice Cave, a sparkle base, and I will open up a thread in the Ravelry group and put in a prompt there. I don't know I don't know what it's going to be, but you just have to answer it there, be a member of the group, and subscribe, of course, to the podcast. So if you want a skein of this with sparkles, go in and put a post in there and answer a question that I haven't thought of yet. But so that's it. So happy knitting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.